She woke up every night at 2 a.m. for 4 years. She was already on hormones and she'd been doing it for years, pretty much doing everything right. Her labs came back normal, but she couldn't really remember conversations from just yesterday. She was really starting to ask herself, is this the beginning of something worse, like Alzheimer's? But she was really looking in the wrong place for the answer. Her doctor was too. If that sounds familiar, the first thing I want you to hear is this. The fog of menopause isn't the beginning of dementia. It's not depression. It's not you losing your mind. A woman from Australia wrote me recently. She'd been dealing with menopause symptoms since about age 50, 66 now, and I want to read this the way she wrote it. She said, optimizing her hormones lifted the fog from my head. Well, she'd gone 16 years without that clarity. She just wanted to know that she wasn't going crazy. Well, in my last video, I talked about women with heart palpitations being sent for a full cardiovascular workup with a Holter test and an EKG and a cath lab. Well, women with brain fog sometimes face the same pattern. Neurologists, dementia workups, antidepressants. Their labs come back normal and they're sent home with basically no explanation, similar to the palpitation situation. Well, could it be that those doctors might be missing something? I'm Steve Goldring, the hormone pharmacist, and I've spent the last 30 years either in a compounding pharmacy talking with women about menopause and hormones, or studying hormones and menopause and working with women going through exactly those issues that I'm talking about. I'm not a doctor, and that does give me a unique perspective. This video is part of a series on menopause symptoms that doctors often miss. I've developed a step-by-step program that I call the Menopause Solution that helps you clarify those issues, but I'll talk more about that at the end of the video. Well, here's a question. If you're still brain fogged, you can't remember where you left your keys, you walk into a room and you forget why you came in the first place. You forget to pick up your kids at school, or even just for a minute, what their actual names are. What's happening in your brain? And why, even if you're already taking hormones, does this keep on happening? Before we go on, tell me in the comments, when is your brain fog the worst? And I'm assuming you have brain fog if you're watching this video. Is it worst first thing in the morning, right when you wake up? Does it get any better as the day goes on? Or is it more of a constant thing, the same fuzzy thinking, whether it's 8 a.m. or 4 p.m. or 9 p.m.? There's sort of a clinical answer to that question. We'll talk about that before the video is over. But drop your answer in the comments right now, because I read all of those comments. Well, here's what most content on menopause and brain fog maybe gets wrong. There's definitely a strong connection between hormone deficiencies on the one hand, that's the loss of your estradiol and progesterone, and menopause brain fog on the other hand. But it's not exactly a straight line between hormones and brain fog. There's sort of a stop in the middle that most everyone skips. If you skip that stop, you can't really fix the root problem. The chain goes like this. Hormone deficiencies destroy your sleep architecture. Then comes the brain fog. So sleep is the middle step that leads to brain fog. It's not a side symptom. It is the mechanism that leads to brain fog. Well, here's what sleep actually does for your brain. During deep sleep, your brain consolidates your memories. It replays and files all the information from today. Think of it as sort of an indexing project that has to happen overnight so you can access those memories tomorrow. When that sleep is fragmented or interrupted or broken up or too shallow, not deep enough, that filing project doesn't happen. You wake up and yesterday feels distant, like it happened to somebody else. Words go missing in the middle of a sentence. You walk into a room and the reason you went there just flew away. Well, how big a difference does sleep quality make? Researchers tracked people over more than a decade, and they found that broken, fragmented sleep, especially in midlife, predicted significantly worse memory and thinking in their later years. The key factor was sleep quality and not actually sleep time. You can be in bed for, let's say, 8 hours, but you still aren't getting the sleep that your brain needs. There was a separate study that took healthy women and sort of experimentally fragmented their sleep, but they kept the total sleep time the same, and cognitive performance dropped in those women. The brain fog came from disrupted sleep, the quality not from sleeping fewer hours. And for most women in menopause, something's destroying the quality of their sleep while they're in bed. That something is hormones, or more precisely, your lack of hormones. Two hormones have the biggest impact on your sleep system through two completely different pathways. Low estradiol is pretty well known to cause hot flashes and, of course, night sweats. What's less understood is what those events actually do to your sleep. So every time you have a hot flash or a night sweat in the middle of the night, it's an arousal event. It doesn't always wake you up completely, but it does pull you out of that deep sleep before you reach the stages where your memory consolidation and that filing away project actually happens. Your sleep cycles get interrupted night after night after night. Even worse, researchers found that women with lower estradiol levels had more nighttime awakenings even after accounting for night sweats and hot flashes and all the discomfort there. So the hormone deficiency itself is also disrupting your sleep independently of night sweats. The second hormone is progesterone. Progesterone works in a completely different way. Your body naturally converts progesterone into a compound called allopregnanolone, and allopregnanolone acts like a built-in sleep aid. When progesterone is given at a higher dose, like 300 milligrams, it acts as a physiologic regulator of sleep, rather than a hypnotic, which is what sleeping pills are. Progesterone has really no effect on undisturbed sleep, but it restores normal sleep architecture when your sleep is disrupted. That's completely different from sleeping pills like Valium or Ambien or others. Those tend to suppress your deep sleep, even though you may get adequate quantity of sleep. The result of not having enough progesterone is a nervous system that can't settle down, trouble falling asleep, waking up at 2 or 3 a.m. with a racing mind, lying there trying to get back to sleep. One of the women who wrote to me says after 7 years of disrupted sleep, she said the constant fatigue had started really affecting her memory. Not remembering where she left her car keys, going to the fridge and forgetting what she went there for. That's the chain: hormones, sleep deprivation, brain fog, playing out in real time. There's something I watch for when a woman tells me she's on hormones but still not sleeping. Not all progesterone works the same way with sleep. The dosage form that has the most sleep-promoting effect is oral micronized progesterone. So Prometrium is the brand name, and it also comes as a generic. Those are both oil-filled capsules, and you can get it from a compounding pharmacy. When you take it orally at bedtime, it crosses into the brain and activates that calming pathway we were talking about, helping women to fall asleep faster and stay asleep longer because of that allopregnanolone. Synthetic progestins are a whole different story. Medroxyprogesterone, that's the progestin used in the Women's Health Initiative, it doesn't work through that pathway at all. It's not converted into allopregnanolone. And neither is norethindrone, which is another synthetic progestin. Women on progestins aren't getting the sleep benefit from their progesterone. Some of them are actually sleeping worse, and that's because these women are simply not getting progesterone at all. Well, the timing of progesterone dosing might be as big a deal as the dosage and which type you use. Taking oral micronized progesterone in the morning can tend to negate most of the sleep benefit. At bedtime, it works in concert with your sleep cycle, but if you take it in the morning, you've basically handed that away. Here's a side note. What often gets called progesterone intolerance, I have another video about that, but that may actually be a dosing problem in disguise. I've got a lot more to say about progesterone intolerance. I'm going to talk about that in a future video. But for now, if you're on progesterone and still not sleeping, there are 3 questions that you might think about asking yourself and your provider. Number 1, are you on the right type of progesterone? Number 2, are you on the right dose? We've talked about 300 milligrams. And number 3, are you taking it at the right time? These are exactly the kinds of questions that I answer every week in our private community because the answers depend a lot on your specific situation. Well, here's something that you might be able to bring to your doctor if you struggle with brain fog and insomnia. Something to think about for your next appointment. I'm still experiencing brain fog and disrupted sleep, and I'm on hormones. Can we look at the type of progesterone I'm taking? Or how about this? If it's not oral micronized progesterone, can we discuss switching to a different form? And if you are on oral micronized progesterone, what do you see as the best dose and the best time to take oral progesterone? That set of questions sort of moves the conversation away from the symptom and toward the root issue of sleep and the progesterone involvement in sleep. It gives your provider the mechanism, not just the complaint. You know your symptoms better than anybody. You've been living in your body. It's not a small thing, and that's exactly the kind of detail that your provider needs to know. Now, back to that question from a few minutes ago, when is your brain fog the worst? If your brain fog seems to be worse in the morning, maybe right after you first wake up, and gradually gets better as the day goes on, that pattern might be a hint that points to a sleep problem. You're waking unrefreshed because your sleep was maybe disrupted or fragmented through the night. Maybe you didn't get enough deep sleep. Maybe you have a smartwatch or an Oura ring that tracks that. It might be something to look into. If your brain fog is more constant, the same throughout the day, not really tied to how you slept, that is more likely about your estradiol level, specifically whether you're underdosed on estradiol. We can talk more about that in another video. This video series is about menopause symptoms that doctors often miss. And I want to say something clearly. It's not your doctor's fault. Most doctors get fewer than maybe 2 hours of hormone and menopause training in their entire medical school and residency career. There is a gap between what your doctor was trained on and what you're actually going through. And you deserve to have somebody in your corner who can help you close that gap. Unfortunately, sometimes that person who closes the gap is going to be you. I've put together a step-by-step roadmap for exactly that situation. It's called the Menopause Solution. 7 steps to clarity and confidence. It's in plain English with no medical jargon. You can also sign up within that course for my weekly Q&A call and that private community I mentioned. That's women going through exactly the same things that you're dealing with. If you'd like to learn more about the Menopause Solution, there's a link in the description. I'd love to see you inside. If you know somebody who's been dealing with brain fog and hasn't really made that connection to her sleep, send this video to her. She might be glad you did. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Click here so that you don't miss the next video in this series. It's all about menopause symptoms that doctors often miss. I'll see you there.